Hi, I'm Hallie, Senior Editor at Byrdie, and today I have these 4 brand new Benefit concealers. So Boi-ing concealer is their cult favorite concealer. Everybody loves it, so they decided to come out with these 4 new ones. Each one kind of helps a different problem. So I'm going to use all 4 of them and talk about how to best put them on. You can layer them, wear them for summer so they don't get super cakey. I'm going to start with the Brightening Concealer. It's meant to color correct, so it has a peachy undertone, which is really helpful for me. I have super dark under eyes. This is it. It comes in this super cute packaging. And you just undo it in this little pot. And you can use your fingers, you can use a brush. I like to use my fingers just because I think it looks more like skin. You can press it in, you can layer it on, and just use different ones. And this is like a medium coverage, so be careful. You don't want to use too much, a little goes a long way. But you just put it at the darkest spots of your eye. I try not to get it everywhere, but see that how that peachy undertone neutralizes the darkness? And then I like to make sure that I'm getting right in the darkest part of the inner corner of my eye. A lot of times people will leave that out, and then you see that darkness creeping up through your eye. This way your eyes just look much bigger, much brighter. That's the first layer to start it off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use the next one, which is called Industrial Strength. It also has a peachy undertone, so it will help you get rid of those dark circles, but it's a little bit more full coverage. Something great actually about the packaging is it comes with these little guides, and it'll tell you if your dilemma is heavy duty dark circles and blemishes. It says how you can cover it. I think it's super helpful and service oriented for people who aren't exactly sure which product they should get. This one is a little bit more matte, so I'm gonna use just a tiny dab and put it again in the darkest part of my eye. I like to not get too much under the lash because I feel like that's where it starts to cake. I want to make sure that that doesn't happen, so a little bit of layering because a little bit goes a long way. And I can even come up over by my brow bone. It depends if your lids crease pretty easily. Mine do, so I try not to do it too much. These first 2 are the ones with the peachy undertones. They're a little bit darker. They're not as much for brightening as they are for color correcting, neutralizing, coverage, things like that. And then these next 2, just gonna layer on top. This one's called the Hydrating Concealer. It's really, really cool because it comes in a stick, so it's much easier to apply. And it has this outside layer of hydration with the color on the inside. So it makes sure that things don't get dry, things don't get cakey, that they don't crease too much. You see it's much dewier than the other ones. The other ones are a little bit more matte. This one will just add coverage with hydration, which I think is really important, especially in summer when things can get so sort of crusty. And then you can go in again with your finger, swoop it across your lid. And then you can even see sort of like the difference right now as I'm pressing it in. Like all in here I have this like super blue tones. And then this is just like way more covered, way more neutralized, and it uses the dewiness to bounce light off of your eye, which will help bring up the circles, bring up the bags. And then the last one is called the Airbrush Concealer. It's a little bit bigger and it's a little bit brighter, more iridescent tone when you blend it into your skin. So I'm gonna take a little bit, and I like to do a triangle under my eye. It'll add to your highlight, bring down any darkness, and lift up the light around your eye. And then this I like to put a little bit under my brow bone as well. It's all super light and easy to layer, but still really effective. So I'm just gonna put the rest in there, and I think I'm gonna use this little beauty blender, which I love, which is super helpful if you want kind of like an airbrush feel. You just get it a little bit damp. I like to use a tissue and dry it off so that it's not too damp. Sweep it across your orbital bone, which is where your cheekbone meets your eye. For me is where the most darkness is. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit more on just for extra brightness in the inner corners so that darkness doesn't come through. And then go in and blend. And then that's it. And that's 4 super easy to layer concealers that you can do with your finger, you can do with a beauty blender, you can do a brush if you want. You can go in and do that way just to get a little of the creasing out. I like to also put a little bit over here just because there's some darkness that stays. But yeah, and so if you just see the difference, it's subtle, but you can tell that there is like a little bit of creasing, a little bit of darkness, some bags. And then with this, it's dewy, covered, but still bright, not cakey, not gross, perfect for summer. And it's 4 different concealers layered on top of each other, so it's super easy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing kind of the transformation of my under eyes with these Benefit Boi-ing products. If there are any other products that you'd like to see, let us know in the comments below.